If you're an American saying, get me out of here, this series is for you. I'm breaking down 7 countries in Europe and what actually makes them livable for a longer stay. I'm Andy. I'm a move abroad mentor. This is my living room in Portugal. Welcome. I moved to Europe 5 years ago with my 5 kids and my husband, and I've lived in both Eastern and Western Europe. So I am here to tell you what matters about Turkey. My goal is to be your no-nonsense guide to understanding what place in Europe might be a good first stop for you if you are thinking about relocating here, even for the short term. If you are sick of what's going on in America, if you are needing a break, you are not overreacting. If you are ready to go now, if you wish you would have left last month, I absolutely understand. I am feeling really relieved to be living in Europe right now. America is super hard on the nervous system, especially as it regards safety. So Turkey can be a place that really makes your life easier, a place that your nervous system can regulate after the intensity and stress of dealing with what America is right now. So Turkey is an extremely livable place that is incredible for exploring, but also just incredible for going and decompressing and feeling human again. You will find it to be a very humane place. Now, here is where I find Turkey to be underrated and amazing. The kind of history, ancient history, that you will find in Turkey is exceptional. Ephesus is one of the most well-preserved ancient cities in the entire world. You can visit Ephesus in Turkey. Istanbul, huge and glorious and fascinating. It is the East meets West city, where one part of the city is Europe officially, one part of the city is Asia. It was the end of the Silk Road. There are wildly beautiful beaches. Turkey would be a world schooler's dream as far as affordable activities to do with your kids. For example, in Cappadocia, it's like an outdoor playground. It's like you're wandering a national park with cave hotels and fascinating rock structures. There's hiking, there's seeing the hot air balloons go up, and there are really amazing underground cities nearby where you can explore. I would say exploring the underground cave cities would be such a fun exploration as a world schooling family. There's this really interesting landscape. I'm probably not going to pronounce it right, but Pamukkale. It looks like cotton candy. They call it the Cotton Castle. So it's just this like fascinating otherworldly place to visit. Turkey would be just a dream for world schooling families. And all of that is going to be so much less than you would expect to pay if you were living in the States for such things. So Turkey is just underrated with a vast array of interesting places to visit. So not only will it feel affordable for your daily living essentials like medical care and healthy food and living expenses, it will also provide history and nature and unique experiences that you have anywhere else. Of all of the places, what is going on? I think Turkey is underrated as a regulation country, a place where you can literally go, have your nervous system, get regulated. It lets people slow down. sleep, take a break, eat real food, see beautiful, fascinating things after living in a constant threat response in America, especially as a mother in a multiracial family, or any mother who's sending their child to public school and having your kids do intruder drills. There is a heightened intensity about living in America your body is probably very tired of. My body was very, very tired of America by the time that we left in 2018. Somebody the other day commented on my Albania video and said, "Albania, isn't that dangerous?" And I was like, laughing face, compared to America. There are going to be so many places in the world that your nervous system feels safer than it does in America. That is simply a fact. I have traveled all over the world with my family of 7, and I absolutely believe that landing in Turkey will be a complete relief and break for your nervous system that I know that you desperately need. Turkey is underrated for being a place where you will receive genuine warmth and kindness. It's not fake, it's not performative, it's really part of the culture. And I think for Americans who are used to doing everything ourselves, pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps, it's a very lonely existence. And I think that being in a place like Turkey could be very healing for you and restore your faith in humanity, to be honest. So, while I believe that Turkey is not for everyone, I highly recommend it to Americans who are really ready to go, who need some literal mental and physical space and financial de-stressing in order to figure out what your next steps are over the next few years. I want to remind you again that you absolutely do not need to know your long-term destination right now, that there are options for you to have the space and time to figure out what you're doing next without having to be rushed or panicked. So if you have a way to have remote income and you have a desire to see the world and experience new things and get a break from the intensity and ridiculousness that is America right now, I completely recommend any of the countries in this series. And I think that you will find Turkey to feel like a really humane stop and break, that you can reset and even be able to consider what you would like for the next few years of your life. Something that I encourage my clients to do is hold in one hand the fears that you're being really real about, the things that make you say, "Get me out of here." There's a lot of things that feel inhumane about America, and you can hold those in one hand. I really want to encourage you to hold your hopes in the other hand. I want to encourage you to make sure that you have some things in the hope hand. Even if it's just, I want to make some memories so that when I am old and gray, I can look back and be like, I really did that. I lived abroad for a time by myself, with my partner, with my family. There are beautiful things available to you right now. This is your life. I want it to not only be fear. I want you to realize that there is always stuff to look forward to hope. For me, moving abroad was absolutely part of my strategy to find beauty. I needed beauty for myself, for my own soul, so that I can do this life as a mom of 5 kids, as a mom who has kids with disabilities. I want you to make sure that you're putting things in your hope hand. And so these countries that I'm telling you about in this series, they can really be a beautiful, beautiful thing to look forward to, a beautiful place to have a new experience, have an adventure, make memories, and see something new and beautiful in the world, as well as the hope of just having a nervous system that gets a break. So, if you want to hear about some more of the options, you can check out my playlist, which is going to pop up here somewhere. It's like magic. I would really invite you to subscribe so that you can get some no-nonsense advice from me as a guide as you try and make a plan for moving to Europe.